Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into the latest from Costco.
Yep, they just reported their Q3 2025 results back on May 29th.
Right. We've got the official release, some supplemental stuff, and, analysis from places like Alpha Street, Benzinga, Guru Focus.
And our plan today is really to unpack the key numbers.
See how they stack up against expectations.
Exactly, and figure out what really drove their performance this quarter. What were the highlights?
Okay, let's jump right in then. Top line figures.
Total revenue came in at, let me see, $63.2 billion. Pretty hefty number.
Wow. And bottom line, profits.
Net income was $1.90 billion. That works out to 4.28 cents per share, diluted.
Okay, $4.28. How did that compare to what Wall Street is looking for?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. Analysts expected revenue may be slightly lower, like $63.19 billion, so pretty close there.
Okay.
But on earnings, they were expecting closer to $4.13 per share.
So a solid beat on the earnings front.
Definitely. And a beat on revenue, too, even just slightly. It suggests, maybe things were a bit stronger than anticipated overall.
Yeah, beating on both definitely sets a positive tone. But let's talk core business health. Comparable sales, how did the established stores do?
Right. Comps are always key for Costco. Total comparable sales year over year were up 5.7%.
5.7%. Okay.
But the really interesting part is how they got that number. Looking at their supplemental data, it wasn't really about people spending a lot more each trip. It was traffic, foot traffic. That was up a strong 5.2%.
Wow, so people were just coming in more often.
Exactly. The average amount they spent per trip, the ticket size, was only up 0.4%. Pretty modest.
So getting feet through the door was the real story.
It seems like it. And, if you adjust for things like gas price changes and foreign currency swings, the adjusted comparable sales look even better, up 8.0%.
8% adjusted, okay.
And the adjusted ticket was up 2.7%. So it really does highlight that the core warehouse model is drawing people in frequently, even with, inflation still around.
That focus on traffic seems to be paying off then. Now, Costco is famous for the warehouses, but what about online? How is e-commerce?
E-commerce was actually a definite bright spot this quarter.
Yeah. How much growth?
Comparable e-commerce sales jumped 14.8%.
14.8. That's pretty significant.
It is. And adjusted for foreign exchange, it was even a bit higher, 15.7%.
What was driving that online strength? Any specifics?
Yeah, the sources mentioned strong performance in gold and jewelry, toys and apparel online. Plus, their digital engagement seems good. Site traffic up 20%, average order value up 3%. They even mentioned a new partnership with a firm, for payment plans. Suggests they're really trying to make online smoother, more accessible.
So they're managing to translate that value proposition online too?
See so. They're clearly investing there.
Okay, shifting a bit. Profitability. Guru Focus noted an improvement in gross margin.
Yes, that's right. Gross margin went up to 11.25% this quarter, from 10.84% the same time last year.
Okay, a decent jump. Any idea what helped there?
Well, based on the earnings call details, a big part was strong results in fresh foods.
Okay.
And they also managed their costs well. The SG&A rate, that's sales, general, and admin expenses, actually decreased as a percentage of sales, down to 9.16%.
So better cost control relative to the revenue growth. That helps the bottom line.
Definitely.
Now, you can't really talk Costco without talking memberships. That's their sort of secret sauce. How did membership fees look?
Healthy growth there, too. Membership fee income rose to $1.24 billion.
Up from last year.
Yep, up from $1.12 billion last year. And Benzinga pointed out that the $5 annual fee increase they put in place last September certainly didn't hurt.
Right, that makes sense. Were they still adding members overall?
Oh, yeah. Paid memberships grew 6.8%. They're close to 80 million paid members now.
80 million?
Yeah.
And total cardholders?
Almost 143 million total cardholders. But, the truly impressive number is how many stick around.
The renewal rate.
Exactly. Still incredibly high. 92.7% in the U.S. and Canada.
92.7.
And 90.2% worldwide. That loyalty is just, it's a massive strength.
Yeah.
Shows how much value members feel they get.
And clearly Costco feels confident, too. They're still expanding physically, right? Opening new stores.
They are. The plan is for 28 net new warehouses this fiscal year, according to the official report. So still investing in that physical footprint.
Okay. So strong quarter overall, but were there any headwinds or challenges mentioned?
Yeah, a few things were flagged. Unfavorable foreign exchange rates definitely impacted some of the international numbers. And Persistent inflation, especially noted in areas like fresh foods again.
Yeah.
Tariffs also got to mention as a potential pressure point.
Got it. So not entirely smooth sailing, but the overall picture looks pretty good.
Yeah, pulling it all together. Costco had a very strong Q3. They beat expectations on revenue and earnings.
Driven by those solid comparable sales, mostly from traffic increases.
Right. Plus that impressive e-commerce momentum.
And improved profitability, better margins, good cost control.
And don't forget the membership story. Continued growth, the fee increase helping, and those really high renewal rates. Plus, they're still building new warehouses.
So even with some external pressures like currency and inflation, the core business looks exceptionally resilient.
I'd say so.
Right. Which kind of leads to a final thought for you, the listener. When you see those incredibly high renewal rates, that steady membership growth, plus the strong traffic driving sales, what does this report really tell you about the power of that Costco value proposition? How does it keep customers so loyal, both in the warehouse and now increasingly online? It really makes you think about that membership connection.